So I became the Democratic State Chair of California in 1993. And one of the reasons that I decided to go for that job was because Bill Clinton had just been elected president, and Diane Feinstein and Barbara Boxer had just been elected to the United States Senate. And I thought, yeah, this is a good run. All right, good time, good company to be in. Senator Feinstein announcing yesterday she's going to go for another 6 years. She's 84 years old. What's that going to mean? What's your take on? It's been 20 years since I was state chair of California, so I'm not that plugged in anymore. What's your take on what that means? Will she have a primary?
Almost certainly someone's going to run against her. The question is basically how serious it is. There's been a lot of speculation around. Well, first off, let's back up and say that she's the front runner right now to keep her seat, period.
Yeah,
I would be very surprised if she doesn't. And I think most people, even people who are going to challenge her, would be very surprised if she doesn't. But there has been a lot of chatter about people trying to run against her, particularly if she was going to retire. You'd see a ton of people flooding into that seat.
People were lined up, right?
Literally dozens of people would have jumped into that seat.
Yes.
But because of California's top two system, where you're essentially almost certainly going to have two Democrats running against each other in November, it's going to be very hard to beat her. That said, with all of that said, there are going to almost certainly be some people running against her. One, there's been a lot of focus on Kevin De Leon, who is the Los Angeles area leader of the state Senate, almost certain to run if she hadn't run, still possibly going to run now. He hasn't.
And very, very attractive guy. He's done a great job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's a very well-spoken guy with a big public figure, got lots of big allies in California. He would cause Feinstein some trouble. Another person who's looked at running, though it's not yet clear if he would do it, against Feinstein is this earned income tax credit activist named Joe Samberg, who would be a self-funder. He's gone around the state. He actually gave a big speech at Netroots over the summer, so he's trying to get a bit of support. The reality is that there are a lot of people out there who will try and jump in against her, and there's going to be a good deal of progressive energy going against her because a lot of people don't think that she's really been hard enough on Donald Trump. And that is the central issue here, not necessarily any of her policies, though obviously people have specific points that they can fight her on there. She's the front runner. There's going to be a primary challenge. The question that she and everyone else in California is asking right now is how serious that's going to be. Obviously, with the gubernatorial race going on right now, too, there are a number of really big statewide fights happening in California that will tell us a lot about the future of the Democratic Party out there.
It's not new for Senator Feinstein to have Democrats who are not entirely happy with who she is. Just a quick anecdote, which you've probably heard before, but I was there when she spoke to the state party convention when she was a candidate for Senate. And she mentioned that she was a supporter of the death penalty. And the place booed. This was a Democratic convention. They booed her. And, of course, she had her camera crew there. That's exactly what she wanted, what her campaign manager wanted. Bill, forget his last name now. That's shame on me. At any rate, and so she ran ads with Diane Feinstein. She's an independent kind of Democrat, right? And she won overwhelmingly. That was a very smart move on her part.
Yeah, and I think
I disagreed with her position.
Sure.
Very smart move on her part.
Yeah, and as I said, now that California has this top two system where there will be basically everyone who's running in one primary and then the top two people run against each other in November, she can get more conservative Democrats, even some Republicans on her side, if that's what it's going to take. But it was very telling yesterday, as soon as she announced re-election early in the morning, like 7 a.m. California time, Kamala Harris, her colleague in the Senate, who is not, they've not always been best of friends, Harris almost immediately jumped in with a statement praising her, supporting her for re-election, and then within hours had sent out a pretty, wholehearted endorsement of a fundraising email for Feinstein. So basically saying, I represent the California establishment now too, and we're not going to let you guys, come and take her seat.